Hello and welcome to my very first video on Super Mario World. This is the first video of a new video series that I'm doing, hyper-analyzing the worlds of Super Mario World, or the levels. We're going to go through each level and pick apart the level and study each level on its own, giving you guys an insight to what the developers might have been thinking in making these worlds. And we're going to be looking over the psychology, the layout, and the mechanics of each level. So we're going to start with, of course, on Yoshi's Island. Alright, so right now we're looking at Yoshi's Island, which is World 1. It's the very first, basically, you could think of as a tutorial island. It hosts, just a few levels for the player to get started on. And as you can see, what we're looking at here is we already have two options available to us. Mind you, I'm on a save that I've already played, but we're going to pretend that we haven't played this yet. But yeah, you have two options. You can go left and right, and this allows the player to be taught how to navigate the overworld, which is a very important aspect of learning how to play a new game. And back at the time, the players were probably just coming from Super Mario World, Super Mario 3. Which did have overworld navigation, but in my opinion, the overworld navigation in this game is actually more simpler than Super Mario 3. But also, what we can see here is that the island it feels small, self-contained, and it looks like a safe place to learn how to play the game. But you do see the castle, and then there's a bridge at the top right that tells the player there's going to be much more to come in this game, and so you have to figure out a way to reach the first castle in order to proceed. And also, if you go left, you don't know what's up there, but you see that there's only one level between you and the big ladder that leads to somewhere. And so this gives rise to exploration, which was very nice in this game. Super Mario World was always, I remember when I first played it, exploration was a key element, especially in this new SNES environment. But you got some cute graphics of big mountain things and clouds in the water. But yeah, this makes it for a good intro of the game. Just lets the player explore the world, explore a micro verse of the bigger game, basically. So let's go ahead and move on to level 1, which is where we're going to start analyzing each level on its own. And how these videos are going to be structured is at the very first, before we play the very first level of each world section of the game, we'll do another overworld analysis. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's start with World 1. All right, so right out the gate, we have our first enemy encounter. Um, this makes the player basically have to think fast, which is what you have to do in this game. And this it also forces the player to commit their first jump of the game. And so the player is all immediately introduced to a very common enemy in this game, and you're going to see throughout this level that it basically introduces a few enemies. In fact, I would say that this level covers a set of enemies that could prove to be challenging in future levels. But let's continue. So as you can see, we're already introduced to a new palette, or a palette that we'll see in the future, and we've already been introduced to exploration through that pipe back there, and this teaches the player it's okay to explore each level and try and find secrets. And that little stretch back there may seem trivial, but back in the day, it was important to help the player learn how to platform. And so you saw increasing degrees of varying terrain, which and some enemies, which has the player decide what they're going to do on their path. And me personally, I like to stay on the higher path, just because it allows me to move fast. Generally, the enemies in this game are on the ground, and so there's some flying enemies. As you can see here, we're introduced to a big bullet bill, which is interesting because normally we were fighting the smaller ones in Super Mario 3. So this shot just gives you an idea of another type of enemy you're going to be fighting is a enlarged enemy, which in back in the day kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it's a good it's definitely a good variation to the enemies that we fought before in previous titles. So again, this level is definitely trying to teach the player exploration is okay, and also, as you can see, that some enemies can't be killed by traditional means or with the shell. because as you saw, when I kicked the shell at the bullet bill, it went right through them, which is a layering mechanic that the SNES can use with this type of enemy. And so yeah, that definitely is a difference. And then, of course, you have the standard fire flower, still from previous titles. And, overall, this it's a good training level, I must say. Because the next levels after this island really do pick up in difficulty, and it was really good for Nintendo to create a level where a player could learn how to play before getting into the nitty-gritty of the difficulties ahead. And here at the end of the level, the player is also introduced to a new end of the level mechanic, which is the raising and lowering ribbon between the two pillars, which is pretty cool. Because that was something. It's a new idea put into Mario, and it also teaches the player how to time their jumps, because the higher the ribbon goes, the more points you get for the bonus game if you get over 100 points. So yeah, this was a good, definitely a good way to introduce the player to this mechanic. Okay, that covers level 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give me a like. I would appreciate any feedback you could give me. I'm very new at this video stuff, so hopefully this comes out great and gave you some insights. Next video will be on level 2 on Yoshi's Island. We'll see you soon.